Before I start, I formally would like to introduce about my company as well. So, as I said, I represent a company called Orient Spectra, which is uh, a 16 years old firm based at headquarters in Hyderabad. So, we have started this company back in 2005, but I have got an experience of more than 17 years in the field of overseas education. So, we represent more than 450 universities across the globe. And till date, we have sent more than 7,500 students to various destinations across the globe. Most of our business comes through referrals because we provide a very quality service to the students. And we have an expert panel of counselors who helps the students to choose the right university and right course and right country based upon their career interest. So now coming to the topic of the day, the pandemic impact on the world or on the education and specifically to UK. So uh, this pandemic effect is there across the globe, not only UK or India. This has impacted more than 200 countries across the globe, and it is going on increasing day by day. It is almost all reached all the countries in the world, and has now started measures to control this uh, COVID-19 very strongly. And there were also lockdown for quite a few weeks, more than 6 weeks. It has been locked down now, and recently, maybe yesterday onwards, they started changing the rules. So the new policies or the new guidelines for COVID-19 has come into the effect. So what is that they have come up with? Means they have come up with 5 stages of this. So the plan number of this is their plan to how to they are going to face or how they have eased the lockdown now. So the step one that which has started from May 11th is that if you have to go for work, you can go, but only if it is a must. But if you can work from home, they still recommend you to work from home. So if it is a must, if the industry expects, means for in some part of job might need your physical presence. So for them, they are given that freedom to go and work, taking all the measures in place like maintaining social distancing and all. So like just like India, that what they have given a waiver for the construction or emergency services. So from June 1st, they are going to open shops, uh, all kind of shops, and also they're going to open the schools. So they are assuming it that by June 1st, most of the things will come in control. So that's the reason why they're going to start the schools. So that gives an good sign for all of us that they most actually that the schools are starting in June 1st. Most likely the university will also start on time. So from 1st of July, they are going to open all industries across UK, including the hospitality industry. And also they're going to reopen all the public places in UK. So now just now I was saying about that 5 levels of this COVID-19, how they're going to face. So the plan is something like this, that they should first ensure that sufficient critical care capacity across the UK has to be established. Sustained. Second one is sustained and consistent fall in details of death. Rate of infection should be decreasing. Then testing and PP material are able to meet the demand and making adjustment, the final one, to measures that will not risk a second peak, which can overwhelm the NHS. NHS is National Health Services in UK. So this is the 5 points that they are going to follow. The bigger the risk comes, the more stricter lockdown will follow. So as of now, this is the plan in place. But however, there can be changes based upon the situation. So now, so I hope that these measures will work and slowly now the world, see, basically they said first initially all over the world, everybody said that stay safe, stay home. But now it is changing now. Be alert. That is what they are saying, that go and work, but be alert, because We don't know when this uncertainty is going to end. As someone said by the couple of chief ministers in our country, that we have to be used now to live with this pandemic, that how to we can live this pandemic. So now going forward, what is happening with the students who are already in UK? I don't know how many are attending the session or in already in UK, but I want to say a few points to them as well. So students who are in UK, please stay safe and stay home, and please try to take maximum utilization of this time doing your online classes. So now in UK, all the universities are moved for digital classes at this point of time. So most of the universities, who, especially the students who are vying for this January intake, that is January 2020, they would have already completed their first semester, because normally they are lost for 11 or 12 weeks, which they are done with, and then followed by the Easter holidays and all. So now they're just starting up maybe a second semester after the summer break. So when you start, so it could be more a little bit of digital classes for a few weeks. So I know that most of the classes cannot be taught digitally, because most of the courses also requires good number of hours on hands in the laboratory. So they will try to teach or design the program which you can learn, which whatever you can learn online, that can be taught online for a couple of weeks or maybe 2 weeks. Then when you go back, when the situation comes normal, then we'll go back and start be doing the practicals as usual. So students who are getting online classes, please continue your education. Don't take it casually. It is very much important that you should stay focused on your studies. Okay, there are unfortunately some students have reached, or some students have already applied for the visa and got the visa, but because of this pandemic and travel restriction, they were not able to travel. For all those students, there is a good news that now there is nothing that you have to do, only that you have to get your replacement of visa at free of charge by the UK visa. So the students who have got the visa of connect travel, they can get their visa for the September intake. For students who are aspiring for September 2020, so I know that most of the students are in dilemma whether to go for the September 2020, or they have to hold on and wait for January, because this we are this reminds me a small story of this pandemic situation. So here's a story of Chris was one of the FBI's most celebrated hostage negotiators. So one of his article, he explains about, or he revealed about his experience. So what he says is the single most effective method for trainers to test the resilience of candidates was not through physical testing when he was under training, but they used to place under uncertainty. The preparation of our early morning runs normally for the trainers would not reveal the length of the run for the trainees. So trainers used to say that, so that they have to run, but they never used to tell to how many hours they have to run, or what will be the destination, or how long they have to run, or the time even to complete it. So we don't know how long or how far we have to run. So it becomes difficult because they used to place them in uncertainty. So maybe exactly we are going through the similar kind of situation that we are now. So because now we don't know how many days it could take, or exactly how many weeks or how many months or how many years it could take. So now I strongly believe that we have to move on. We have to learn to live with this pandemic, and we have to move on in life. And we cannot just keep sitting at home and doing nothing. And there can be a recession very soon. So we have to be proactive and do something with our careers and with our education. It cannot stop like that. So I encourage, this is my personal opinion, however, that all the students should look forward for this September 2020, because now any government or any country will take all the measures that are required to contain or contaminate this pandemic. However, it was the first time that has been hit, so most of the countries were badly hit. Now all the countries are alert and they want to maintain these cases as low as they can. On the other side, there are a lot of development is going on in terms of the vaccine or in terms of the treatment that can be given to this COVID-19. Hoping for the best. So for the students who are going for the September 2020, as of today, uh, any university or there is no any news from the education department of UK that the September is going to be suspended. So what does it mean is that September is very much there, but there can be certain changes in the policies or the guidelines of the universities. So what are the some interesting changes that you can see is that, so few universities have just want to start a little bit late. Instead of September, there can be more possibility that some university might extend the start dates to October. And for example, University of Hertfordshire has moved their starting date to October 26th, and there can be more universities which will follow. So what are the other policies that they have changed? So some of the other interesting policies which I feel, because even they know that about this uncertainty, and they also don't want to, they understand the pain and the problem of the students. So most of the universities have come forward to asking the students who have already got the offer letters to make a deposit of a minimum of £1,000. A few universities are even asking for £500. That is before cash. Cash is nothing but confirmation for acceptance of study which you need to apply for the visa. So before you get the offer letter, you have to pay 1,000 once you get the offer letter, and before that they issue the cash, you have to pay the balance of the fees. Of course, the fees differs from university to university in terms of the initial deposit as well. So in case, in the worst scenario, if something goes wrong because of this pandemic, or there can be a travel ban on our country, or there can be some restrictions in UK. So if something happens like that, the university will refund 100% in full. So you will get a 100% refund if the intake is suspended, or if you don't want to take if there is a digital classes and you don't want to take the digital classes because of any reasons of the impact of pandemic that are happening. So you are eligible to get the 100% refund. So not to worry, move ahead to make the payments. So other changes also come. That one is that English language test requirement. Previously, most of the universities used to accept IELTS, TOEFL, PT. Now they're still accepting it, and some few universities are also accepting even the score is expired. And also they have come up with new tests, like now they're accepting Duolingo, Password, or Percent. So you can also take these tests. Why these tests? Because you can take it from your home. These tests are taken online, and some universities anyways doesn't require any English language test if you have a good English marks in your plus two. Maybe most of the universities normally accept 70 plus marks in your 12th class, then there's no need for you to take any test. But of course, some universities still accept 60 or 60 plus, and some universities are there which accept on minimum of instruction as English. So nothing to worry even regarding your test. If your scores are low in your plus two, you still can take a test. If your scores are good, then you can apply without any English language test. And one other important aspect for any international student is, apart from submitting the academic documents, you're normally supposed to submit 2 reference letters or 2 letter of recommendations. So now we all know that most of the universities and colleges in India are closed at this point of time. So you can submit your references through online, or you can view your professor's email ID where the university will contact you an email and get that reference done. or even if you don't have, few universities are ready to give a conditional offer letter to you, which you can accept it, and then you can submit the required documents like reference letters or some academic documents which are missing at the later stage once your colleges and the university is open in India. So mostly there are not many changes that I can say, but there can be some kind of adjustments even after you reach to the UK. Even once the university starts in September or October, maybe there can be small changes because now the social distancing or physical distancing has become a part of our life. So either you are in India or abroad, we have to stay alert and we have to use all the precautions that given by the guidelines of the government, maybe like wearing masks, using sanitization, leading a hygiene life, and social distancing is going to be one of the key things in controlling this COVID-19. So the government will release certain guidelines once the universities are open. But as of now, what the information I have got for you is that the classrooms and the timings might change, where that will allow less number of students to attend the class, or there is the distance between student and student when they are attending the classes. So that can happen most likely, but they will get more clarity once maybe the end of July that how they're going to do it. But definitely there are going to be some changes in the seating arrangement in your classrooms or using your laboratories or your libraries. Definitely there's going to be some changes either in India or in UK or anywhere in the world. So on the other hand, the UK is very confident of developing a vaccine for this COVID-19. Two universities in UK, University of Oxford and Imperial College of London, has already announced that they are doing a research on a vaccine, and the University of Oxford has already started the clinical trials, I think last month, and now they are sure that they can start the production, and now they already ordered for more than 1 million samples of production, and now it's going to be there. Maybe they're expecting it to come in the September for the first 1 million. So hopefully, if that works out, maybe that can be the end of this pandemic, not only in UK, across the globe. And the university has joined the hands with various companies like Serum in India, which is ready to produce 10 million vaccines India, so which can be used for in India and in UK. So, Imperial College of London is going to start these trials from June, the clinical trials from June. And the professor of Oxford University, Mrs. Sarah Gilbert, who is an head for the vaccinology, she works uh, at University of Oxford, and she is more confident that it will work for sure, and it is going to come in September. So let's hope for the best that we get that vaccine and we can end this pandemic and we move our lives to normal. So in this time, what a student has to do, because if you are a student and looking for September, or if you are going to complete your studies this year and you want to study further, or if you are already a student who have passed your engineering and looking forward for higher education in UK or abroad, I request you to not to waste the time by sitting at home or just consuming internet or watching TV. Rather, now this is the time to upgrade your skills. Now the world is moving to digitalization because there are various webinars, various seminars, what you call various platforms like Zoom, Skype, and GoToMeeting, and all this have come up in the picture in the last 2 months. And a lot of learning is happening over these platforms, either face to face, or there are also various online courses which you can do and upgrade your skills. It is very important that you have to upgrade your skills because there is most likely there can be a recession which is bigger than the 2008 2009 one. So the recession hits the world. The people who are proactive or people who have the required skills will only survive or will only get a job. So now, to be a proactive, you should not waste your time. You have to develop the required skill set. And most of the universities in UK, especially in this period, are engaging the students about telling about the facilities, faculties, and the opportunities in UK by giving various webinars on every week on week basis. So please check the university website or consult your agency that you have applied for. Or if you have directly applied, you can go to the university website and then you can follow the links. So some are coming live on Facebook, Instagram, and some are again making the webinars and using the different platforms. Try to attend. You can get more insight about how your education is going to be or how the university helps you to reach your goals that can really help you. So not to waste your time, my suggestion will be go ahead and attend all these webinars and improve your skill set, so which is very important. And one common thing that you can see in most of the countries, whenever there is a recession, most of the people invest their time and money in higher education to improve their skills because the jobs are going to be shortage and the competition is going to be very high. So the better the skill set you have or the better the qualification you have likely more chances of getting a job. So if you are planning to get a job, it's better that you upgrade your skill set during this lockdown, and after the lockdown, try to do your master's or your bachelor's and upgrade your skill and get the required qualifications. So these were my observations about the present September 2020. However, I also would like to tell you about the education UK because all of you are, I hope, are UK aspirants who want to study in UK. I would also like to give a brief information about UK education, how it is, and at last, of course, I would love to take your questions and answer your questions. So there are 15 more minutes. I will try to go through around uh, about education in UK and about masters in UK, especially. So why UK? So UK, there are so many reasons why people choose UK as a destination, but I've just listed a few of things which, or I think that most of the people feel the same. So UK is a very, very vibrant country. It attracts people from across the world. It is a mix of vibrant cities and gentle countryside. So there are UK consists of England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Each has its own identity and with very dynamic cities in UK. And it is very much multicultural. So more than 5 lakh students from over 200 nations studies in UK. There are so many universities. You'll be surprised to see that which get the students from more than 100 to 150 nationalities. There are so many universities in UK, or 70% of the universities, I can say, maybe gets students from across the globe. And so universities have more than 100 nationalities on campus, which makes it truly a multicultural place to study. And the other good thing about the UK, what I like always say that of the museums and galleries, there are more than 2,000 museums and galleries which you can go around in your free time, and most of them have also got a free entry. UK is also known for their creative industries. So UK has one of the largest and most diverse creative industries sectors in the world, which is accounting 6% of GDP, and it is employing 2.3 million people in UK. It's home for not only engineering, but it is also home for advertising, fashion, TV, and media, and other architecture as well. So this kind of creative industries are very few in the world where you can have this kind of an experience. UK is also passionate about sports, and most institutions or universities have sports societies where some universities offer a free membership in those societies. It's ranging from various activities like football, which is one of the favorite sports in UK, the national sport cricket, which is one of the favorite for India. And so there is clubs for these all sports, ranging from football, cricket, basketball to yoga and archery as well. So this is not just an education, but it will be an overall development for the students who are looking to study in UK. So coming to the food, most of the students have a question that what kind of food that UK has, because as I said, it's a multicultural environment. All kinds of food is available in UK, and it might be Thai or Indian or Chinese or continental, all kinds of food you can see in London or in UK, especially. And their adoption is so fast because if you see, I just came to know through one of my friends that the national dish of UK is a chicken tikka masala, which is an Indian dish. Interesting, because that's how they adapt very so quickly. So nothing to worry about the food. You could find all kinds of foods in UK. So weather. So despite the changeable nature of weather in the UK, there are four seasons in UK. That is winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Normally, temperatures are reasonably okay, but at times in winters might go down, places like in Scotland to even -5 degrees centigrade, and maybe in the summers the maximum temperature could be 32 degrees centigrade. So living cost. So living cost doesn't much differ when you compare with the rest of the world. All the major cities like New York or bigger cities like Melbourne or Toronto of Canada or other countries is equally expensive London is if you're staying in London. So as per the UK guidelines, the UKVI guidelines, the student has to show around £9,130 per if you are going to stay outside the London, and if you are going to stay inside the London, you might be have to show £11,385 for getting the visa. But however, most of the Indians get adjusted less than that. So it's also a part of Europe, although just now the Brexit has happened, it has come out of the European Union, but still it's very quite close to travel around Europe. It takes just only few hours to reach to Paris, for example. So it takes only few hours and very well connected with trains, and there are also so many flights which are very much affordable for you to travel. So these are some of the reasons in general why a student can consider UK as a favorite destination. And apart from these, London has voted consistently in the previous time the best city to live in, and as a student city as well. So these are some of the other reasons that we can say. And why UK? I know that most of you might be looking for your master's program in UK. So one of the things that you should do is quality. The quality of UK education is quite higher compared to most of the countries in the world. And we have seen taken any rankings in the recent times or for the last 3-4 decades also, the UK universities are ranked very high, and most of the, if you see in the top 10 universities of the world, and there are at least 2 or 3 universities, whichever the surveys or whichever has published or whichever the rankings you have taken. So that proves that UK is quality is quite higher because the system in UK or the degrees that are awarded by the UK, there is a very separate body which ensures that the quality is not compromised. Even though some UK universities have campuses, not only in UK, around the globe, like most of them in South Asia or maybe in Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, and all these places. Yes, those universities or even Dubai. So these all universities also maintain the same standard because there's a system in place in UK which does a quality check. It's called as Quality Assurance Agency, which ensures that the quality is not compromised. And the other reason why you have to choose, one of the other reasons could be a renowned research base. So the UK research, 20% of the research of the world comes from UK, no doubt. So UK research papers make up 20% of the world research, or papers with 1,000 citations, which is higher than USA. So they also have a leading edge towards research. It ranks second after America in terms of the volumes and industry and employer links. So most of the course curriculum that they have designed, especially in the UK university, is up to the industry requirement, and they keep editing with the employers, and they also work in conjunction with the different industries. For example, there are new programs in UK which are offering a 2 years program where you can be allowed to work 1 year in one of your industry that you have selected. Means for an IT professional, you can work in an IT company as an internship for 1 year, which is given 1 year of extra visa. This was introduced a few years back. They also have a highly focused shorter courses. What does it mean? Means the masters in UK in most of the universities otherwise is 1 year. So where you are finishing your masters within 1 year of time, when compared to many other countries where most of the time it is 2 years. Sorry, 2 years in those countries. So you're not only saving your time, you're also saving your money. So you're spending for your living expenses for only 1 year, and you're also spending your tuition fees only for 1 year, which makes it more, you can say, more affordable destination as well. Support and investments. There are a lot of scholarships which are being funded by the UK government, which are funded with bodies like British Council, Chevening scholarships, and there are also so many in-house scholarships which students can apply. So that is one of the other support that you can expect from the UK universities. And there is also a career progression. So as I just said, that people invest in education in terms of the progression of career. So this master's program will definitely help you to make or to boost your resume and to get good opportunities in your chosen career. So that is also one of the important factors that why you have to do a master's. So innovation and creativity. So UK is called a nation of inventions, innovators. There's a great impact on the modern technologies. UK's university and research institutes have produced more than 107 Nobel Prize winners till date. So UK has more than 107 Nobel Prize winners, which is quite an amazing thing to know. So before you apply, so what you should do? So you should focus on the entry requirements. What are the entry requirements of the universities? You should check the profile of the professor or research supervisors if you're looking for any academic progression, and student satisfaction rating. So there's normally various surveys that happens in UK like NSS, so which is tells about the number of students that are satisfied studying in the particular university. You should also go through the course content or modules that you are going to study so that you know what you're going to study. And you should also check the institution reputation and department ranking. So they're also for teaching, for example, the UK gives gold, silver, bronze. So teaching excellence framework for that. If you're looking for the teaching, you have to look for what is the university rank. Is it TEP gold or TEP silver or TEP bronze? And you should also check the fees, whether it, can you offer that kind of a fees and what kind of a funding that you can expect from that particular university. And especially if you are looking for a part-time job, it is also more important how many days the college or university is going to run, and will you be able to adjust to work for the 20 hours per week, which is legally permitted in UK. There are also some external accreditation for the professional bodies for certain courses. For example, most of the computer science programs are accredited by the British Computer Society, which when you take those professional exams, you'll be waived from certain examinations. So just check if your course needs that kind of an accreditation. Please check whether that university has that kind of an accreditation. And you should also check the employment prospect, that how many students have got the placement or have moved ahead in terms of the job after the course completion within 6 months of time, which is taken as an average. So coming to my final slide, which I'll just finish up within 5 minutes so that we can move on to Q&A session. So all the application process is quite simple, and you have to apply with all the documents through online application, where normally you are asked to submit your all academic documents like your 10th, 12th, bachelor's. If you have taken your IELTS scorecard, 2 reference letters, 1 statement of purpose, your CV, passport, first 2 pages and last 2 pages, and with the online application form, then the university check your application. And the best part about the UK institution is that most of the universities respond within even 2 days. Few universities even respond within 48 hours. You will come to know whether you have got your admission or not. So at times, most of the universities use conditional offer letter. The conditional offer letter are of two types. One is academic condition, means if you have not submitted any document, or if you are pursuing your bachelor's degree and they might need certain percentage, so they will specifically say that what kind of a percentage they need to get your approval or to get your unconditional offer letter. There is also one another condition normally most of the universities do is financial conditions, where you are subject to pay a part of the tuition fees as a deposit, and then you have to get your unconditional offer letter. So once you get the condition, most of the times if there's a fee deposit, you have to make a fee deposit, and then you will be given, you'll be asked for a credibility interview by most of the institutions. Once you clear your credibility interview, they will check your financial documents, and then they will release the confirmation for acceptance of studies, which is very much required for your visa. So then you will move ahead to apply for a visa. The VFS centers in a number of cities in India. If you're applying from Hyderabad, you can apply to the VFS Hyderabad, and you can apply for book a slot and apply for the visa. So normally you can apply 90 days in advance for the visa, the course starting date. And once you get the visa, normally you'll be given a visa for 1 month. So you can go and register at the university, then your visa will be extended. So this is all about what I thought to share with you. So if you have more doubts, you're free to approach us. And I feel that this should not stop your dream of studying abroad, but further I expect that you to go ahead for your higher education